Welcome. My name is Anna Sophia, and we are going to launch into the new moon in Leo and the 8th power on the rosary. Because of technical hitches, you won't be seeing Amina or the ceremonies, but I will put up the handouts as they are in the order. So enjoy the recording and get in touch with me if you need any more information on anna.sophiawisdom@gmail.com. Welcome everyone. Lovely to see you there in the gallery. So welcome to this new moon, which is in Leo. Now we're going to, Amina will tell us a lot about it. And what I found that correlated with it from the New Divine Feminine by Megan Don was the dark aspect of the mother, Naya, which was the resurrected elegance. And I love that because we're going into the power which is going to have beauty and love and beauty in it. So with this resurrected elegance, it says another form, that's right, grace and beauty, that's where we're climbing to in the next power. And it starts off with a beautiful quote saying, "She's a garden enclosed," from the Song of Solomon's. "My promised bride, a sealed fountain, well of living water, streams flowing down from Lebanon." So elegance is defined as a refined grace, a flowing energy of light and wisdom from the Mother Creator of all that is. And Mother Mary, of course, is here. Today, on the 15th of August, is the feast day of the Assumption. So this is when the Black Madonna is taken from the crypts of Chartres Cathedral, and there's a procession that happens for a whole week. So it's like the Black Madonna is resurrected, and also Mother Mary is now recognized as the Queen of Heaven in this Feast of Assumption. So she stands her ground there with Isis and Inanna and all the great women goddesses of the world. So and the church did this in 1950 to come on board, so that's an interesting step forward. So how we get this constant flow of grace into our being is by purifying the lower nature. And this reveals this innate beauty and harmony and the elegance of our soul. So I love the word elegance as a form of refined grace. And that tree of life we've been climbing up has been like a fountain of light from which comes the flowing grace, and each branch revealing a quality of the Holy One. So we can be a sealed fountain or someone in a constant state of grace when the flow is not obstructed by outside forces. So when the dross comes up, as it does, it's purified and grace flows in a matter of a moment. So I think a lot of the things we've been doing and what I've been gathering too from the practices is how to really be present in the moment. So a lot of Mary Magdalene, the teachings that have come through from Yeshua is about presence, really being truly present. It's very Buddhist-like. Yeah. So when the dross does come up, it's purified quickly. But when we chew, over our dross, this extends the purification period. And then we get leaks in our sealed fountain. So to keep our soul garden clear and clean for the good of all, we need to process our stuff as soon as it comes up and release it. So let go of the past, be really fully present in what is now, and keep flowing with grace. So, and being aware of the negative feminine, Naama, which we did an aspect of her before, which was the charmer and seductress. So in this instance, we could think about how do we try and bind another's will to do our own, or manipulate another life or God to do our own will. So it's just an awareness of where are we trying to manipulate our life, and where are we in the flow of life, in the fountain of life that brings spiritual grace and elegance. So that's what I found in my little research for today's new moon, and I'm just going to hand it over to Amina, who's going to tell us all about the new moon.
All right, I'm going to share a picture here. Yeah, here we go.
Looking for you. Where are you? Good.
Here we are with this new moon, which is in the fiery. They always refer to Leo as a fiery nature, and it's the only astrological sign that's ruled by the sun. This has really been fun for me every month because I know nothing about astrology. So I've been having a good time surfing around these different sites and finding all of these interesting bits about each of these moons and what goes on. And it changes, although there's apparently some basic things that are always attributed to to any of the moons. So we're in Leo, and since it's ruled by the sun, this brings strong solar energy and a burst of creative inspiration, and also some very positive attributes of generosity, self-confidence, and leadership qualities. This new moon will be guiding us by lending an optimistic hand and sending positive beams of uplifting energy to remind us to make the most of the time that we have left for the rest of this year. And added to this, apparently, Mars is very active right now. And I discovered a planet that I had never heard of before. This is a dwarf planet called Eris, who was named after the Greek goddess of discord and strife. So she's in a perfect place to be in the new moon. And she has some of the same qualities that we've learned about from our study of the seven faces of Mary in Lilith. So we will be invoking her tonight when we sing our chants. So here's a bit about Eris. If you want to know more, of course, there's a number of articles. But briefly, in connection with this new moon, Eris only brings a sense of instability and disharmony when things need to change. Who knew, right? So it's the discord she brings that helps to break the chains in lifelong patterns and disrupt the order and structure that's only served the elite few. So this suggests that we need to pay attention when we sense any discord in our lives. Wake up and change what we were doing and change our approach to living, perhaps. The good news is that the activity of Mars at this new moon can offer us increased motivation and drive. So we may feel this inspired, fiery energy bubbling in our being and motivating us to get things done. Or we could just sort of curl up in the fetal position and wait till it all blows over. There's always that. So while this is a new moon and the night sky is dark, we will be able to tune into our own inner side and light up the parts of ourselves that have been hidden in the shadows. And I wanted to show you this picture of Eris, which I think is just really astonishing because of the red roses, which of course are one of the symbols of Mary. And this symbol in the back, I'm not really sure about. I did look up a few things, and there are a number of symbols used for Eris, one of which is like, Mars is a circle with an arrow pointing up. Well, one of the ones for Eris is a circle with the arrow pointing down. So I'm kind of thinking that this down-pointed arrow here is what that represents. But I just wanted to show you that because it's just, I think it's a great, picture to invoke. And having this fiery redness is all part of what's going on.
Can you share it? Because it's not on the screen yet.
Oh, it's not on your screen?
No.
Okay. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna stop share, and I'll reshare it. I thought I had it up there. I could see it. Here it is. Okay, now, can you see that now?
Yay! Beautiful! Wow!
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I probably need to post this one or something. It's such a
yes.
Really.
Could you please send it with send it with when I send the recording out. You can send it to me. It's just beautiful.
Okay, so let's get on to our candle lighting. So are we ready?
Yes.
In the glory of the triple goddess who kindled the light, most gracious lady, maiden, mother, and crone of humanity, unknowable masked goddess of the new moon, we welcome you to our circle and ask that you guide us in this deeply inner time of renewal and rebirth. May we connect with the beauty of our own deep self. And Mary saying, in part, until you know the darkness of Sophia, you will not acquire her light. To the glory of the triple goddess we kindle the light, invoking the dark daughter bride.
Kali Imma, come to us through Lilith, also known as Lila too, and be our guide into the darkness and into the brilliance of light that stands within and behind the dark, the brilliance of light that lives within us, but often is in the shadows. Help us in this new moon to reveal what is in the shadows. Help us to know us as your ally, our protectress and our liberator. Lead us from the fear of what lies in the shadows, and let us not shun you. Let there be no more separation.
So we're going to chant Kali Kala Lila too. And this is the dark bride and the daughter of the night. Kali Kala Lila too. So we'll chant that 7 times. Kali Lila tu. 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 Breathing Kali in, breathing Lila tu out. The glory of the triple goddess, we kindle the light, invoking the dark mother.
Na'ama, come and help me back into the fullness that I am. Help me realize what I have that is in the shadow, and not run from this darkness, but stand in the power of revealing its balance of knowing. I see you in your beauty, Na'ama. I feel a harmony and grace flowing through your soul, a natural elegance that no one has witnessed before, a natural elegance and grace that speaks my name and calls my own beauty forth, my own flowing grace that no one can interrupt or stop or interpret or deny.
And let's chant together, Kali Imma Ne'ama, the dark mother of the night. Kali Imma Ne'ama, 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 Kali Imma Ne'ama. Breathing in Kali Imma, breathing out Ne'ama.
Igorette, come, open our minds, crone of the dark, grandmother. In your vastness, in the empty space of your belly, may I know myself as you. May I not be afraid of the dark space you inhabit. May I not fear getting lost and losing my way, but rather let me embraced by your darkness in the wild cosmic starry night. Let me give birth to another star in our galaxy and beyond. Let me know I can do all this and more.
And we invoke the dark crone of wisdom and dissolution, Kali Ignorant Sophie. Kali Ignorant Sophia. 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 Breathing Kali Imma, breathing out Sophia. So as we chant together, tonight we'll sing Kali Kala Lila 2. Kali Kala, Kali Kala, Kali Kala Lila 2. Kali Kala, Kali Kala, Kali Kala Lila 2. Kali Imma, Kali Imma, Kali Imma ne ama. Kali Imma, Kali Imma, Kali Imma ne ama. Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret Sophia. Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret Sophia. Kali Kala, Kali Kala, Kali Kala Lila 2. Kali Kala, Kali Kala, Kali Kala Lila 2. Kali Imma, Kali Imma, Kali Imma ne ama. Kali Imma, Kali Imma, Kali Imma ne ama. Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret Sophia. Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret, Kali Igaret Sophia.
So we'll prepare for meditation now. Close your eyes and attune to your breath. And feel your breath coming into the mother ground of your being. Into the radiant awareness of self. Into the vastness of being. And here in this vast space, we invoke the energy and the image of the Dark Mother. You may want to see roses around her, or the lily of the valley, or the tree of life. All of these are symbols of her. And as we enter this space and the vastness of being from the mother ground of our nature, we seek any liberation that we may need from a form of seduction, or where we are not doing our own, where we're not doing the will of the mother, but our own will. Envision the Black Madonna, or see an image come before you, and ask her, are there any hidden manipulations that need to be revealed? that need to be purified. You may want to keep the chant Kali Imma on your breath, breathing in, breathing out, and asking for the guidance of the Dark Mother. And when these places within us are being revealed, offer them to her. There's no need for shame or guilt. Just this gentle honesty, yes, I see this in me. I acknowledge it is there. And I offer it back to you for cleansing, for purification. And the Dark Mother will purify that fountain of life within you so that it may flow more readily. Feel this grace now, flowing unobstructed through your whole being. And maybe keeping that chant on your breath, Kali Imma, Kali Imma. Let her name bring you grace and the unfolding beauty of her being and awareness. And everything is accepted, the dark and the light. And let these desert winds around her, the wings of the Shekinah, gently touch you with true elegance and grace. And giving thanks to Kali Imma, we return back to where we are now. Greater awareness, purified in our being, filled with the light we need for the next step we take in our life. May it be so. Gently open your eyes. We are back for the closing.
Goddess of the dark moon, renewer of life, we thank you for your presence here today, and we bid you farewell until we next meet in your darkness. Bless us and restore us in readiness for what lies ahead. Go in peace. So let's stand for our closing. If you wish to stand, or you may remain seated. You can repeat after me. I am and I am becoming. I am pure, radiant awareness.
I am pure, radiant awareness.
Ya Mariam.
Ya Maria.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
So I'm going to start with sharing picture of the supernal triad. I've referred to these before, but now that we're up here in Bina, we have crossed the abyss, and Mary has, and we're here. These three, called the supernals, work together because they are the source of creation. So and we will be in our last session in 2 weeks. I will go into depth about Hakma, which is divine wisdom, and Kether, the crown, which is the Godhead. I'll go into more detail about each of those Sephiroth when we get together next time. But because Bina is also part of that triad, I wanted to just introduce that to you tonight and just give you this brief little quote from one of the resources that I use. Hakma, here, which is Sephiroth number 2, has the energy of Kether, who is the father, in the upper realm, and is said to impregnate Bina, the upper mother. The energy of Bina allows the conception of a manifestation of God's being. The third Sephiroth is referred to as the palace and womb in which God's teaching begins to take form. These divine parents then give birth to their children, the 7 lower Sephiroth. And of course, that's where we have been until now. So because we're using the Aramaic Lord's Prayer as our opening for the Rosary, and of course it's part of my practice, it came to me that we could say that the supernal triad is the Avun Dabashmaya. The Dabashmaya, the Shem, of course, is what was translated as heaven, but that is the vibration and the sound and the name and the atmosphere of the Avun, who is the birther, father, mother of the cosmos. And of course, this we use these poetic translations from Sadi Neil Douglas Klotz. And I wanted to just share the 3 of these with you, which capture the essence of this supernal triad. So this first line, O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in the light. And of course the light, the infinite light, comes from Kether. That's where it all starts. And then these next 2 particularly refer to Bina, as you'll see when we get into the attributes of Bina in just a minute. Respiration of all worlds, we hear you breathing in and out in the silence. Radiant one, you shine within us, outside us. Even darkness shines when we remember. So here we are with our all these attributes of Bina. There's so much that I've just, it took me just about the whole week to figure out what I could include, because there wasn't room, but hopefully you'll get a feel and a sense of what Bina is all about. The name attributed to Bina is understanding. So on the other side, of course, Hakma and Bina are on this parallel with a path that connects them. So you have the divine wisdom in Hakma, and you have the divine understanding in Bina. Bina, it's also spiritual awareness and love, the primordial feminine, and the self-knowledge of God from which all creation comes. The foundation of original or primordial wisdom. And as you may remember, a couple of weeks back, we talked about Da'ath, the invisible Sephirah, and the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is attributed to Da'ath. And so Binah has acquired this knowledge. The color of Binah is black because all colors are hidden within black. Through Binah, we can come to understand that which has been hidden from us. The black veils the divine glory until time and understanding reveal it. Binah is the emptiness of radiant darkness, through which all divine potential is realized. And that sounded very much like the translation of that first line, the radiant one. Even darkness shines. Binah, together with Hakma and Kaler, comprise the divine triad in the upper supernal world. Like Kaler and Hakma, Binah is an essential attribute of creation and represents the movement of the divine light in Kaler, the crown, into the world of creation. The virtue awakened in Binah is that of silence, which enables the ability to hear, and through hearing comes understanding. And if you will recall, when we've read the ascent of Mary in the Beloved Companion Gospel, when she gets to the 8th power, then she is in silence. So that is where she rests, while she then, I suppose you could say, is in that place that you can go no higher until you sort of merge into the light through Hakman and Kaler. And then this quote from Tau Malachi, from the Gnosis of the Cosmic Christ. Because the Holy Mother is the Queen of heaven and earth, all creatures and the whole of creation are in her. We are in the womb of God, our Mother, and she is continually giving birth to us in life and in our dreams. All blessing and grace come through her, for she herself is grace and blessing power. And I have over here, which I won't go through tonight, but and these aren't even all of them, but there are many, many faces of Binah, both in the supernal realm and in the lower world. And some of these are attributed to Mother Mary. So you will see some of them are familiar. Holy Mother, Mother Mary, and that is Mother Mary below, and the Mother Sophia, the matrix of creation. And there's also the one that's the stellar. What's the word for the stars? The stellorum. Yeah. So that's one of them. And then I found this one, which was very appropriate for tonight: the Pearl and Star of Grace. So let us stop now with that and go into our invocations. If you'd like to stand for this and join me. Just taking a couple of breaths to get ourselves centered into this moment as we invoke the Holy One and the divine light. Holy art thou, O Lord of our universe. Holy art thou, whom nature hath unformed. Holy art thou, O vast and mighty one, Lord of the light and Lord of darkness. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. And then invoke cross of light, bringing it down to the third eye. believe someone's not muted. I'm hearing some sounds. Ata Malku Vege Bura Vege Dula Leolamami. And we draw in that light with our head movements in the silence. Visualize that cross of light extending into infinity, pulsating from within our heart, radiating out. Amen. Okay, so are you all seeing the second page? So we'll start by reading the eighth power. And I was filled with a fierce joy as my soul turned to fire and flew upwards in flames, from whence my master showed me the eighth and final bough, upon which burned the fruit of the grace and beauty of the Spirit. And I felt my soul and all that I could see dissolve and vanish in a brilliant light, in a likeness unto the sun. And in the light I beheld a woman of extraordinary beauty, clothed in garments of brilliant white. The figure extended its arms, and I felt my soul drawn into its embrace. Well, I put my beads somewhere. Hold on a minute. They were my other altar. Okay, so let's begin with the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. Avun de Bashmayim, Nitkade Shemak, Tete Malkuta, Nekwe Sivyana Aikana de Bashmayim, Alpha RR, Havlan Lakma, Duzun Kunan Yamana, Washbuklan Halvain Waktahin, Aikana Dufkanan Shwokano Hayave, Wela Taklan Lena Sun, Ela Patsan Nin Bisha, Matul de Lahe Malkuta, Wahala Watesh Bukta, Wa Alam Amin, Amen. Ya Mariam, I rise from the darkness, which is the root of the tree of life, and reach the light that is the eternal life of the Spirit. Amen. Blessed are you, Miriam, for you did not waver at the sight of the risen Master. You who are his companion, and whom he loved more than any other woman. Holy bride, apostle of the apostles, be at my right shoulder as I walk forth in the infinite light, and bless me with your eternal healing presence. Amen. The eighth power. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. Yod Hey Vod Hey Elohim. And let's say together the eighth power 7 times. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. Blessed are you, Miriam, for you did not waver in the sight of the risen Master. You who were his companion and whom he loved more than any other woman. Holy Bride, Apostle of the Apostles, be at my right shoulder as I walk forth in the infinite light, and bless me with your eternal healing presence. Amen. The eighth power. I eat the burning fruit of grace and beauty of the Spirit, and I return to the arms of the Mother. And we chant together the God name, Yod Hey Vod Hey Elohim. 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 And then we breathe in Yod Hey Vod Hey. As we breathe that in, we're starting at the root chakra and bringing it up to the crown. And then on the out breath, Elohim going back down to the root chakra. Blessed are you, Miriam, for you did not waver at the sight of the risen Master. You who were his companion and whom he loved more than any other woman. Holy Bride, Apostle of the Apostles, be at my right shoulder as I walk forth in the infinite light, and bless me with your eternal healing presence. Amen. Just rest in that silence. We say thank you, God. Toda Rabba Elohim. Amen. So, there are a number of additional names and phrases that you can use for contemplation. One thing I wanted to mention is that you might remember that when we were in the second power, in Yesud, which is the second Sephirah, this was the wisdom and understanding, the power of wisdom and understanding that freed us from ignorance and intolerance, I believe. I don't have that one in front of me, but I think it was intolerance. And some of the names are the same as we find in Binah. One in particular was the Lakma, which is in the Aramaic. So you might say that the difference is the fact that we've left the lower realm, so to speak, and crossed over into the supernal realm. And so the energies were originally sent down through Hakmah and Binah, which is wisdom and understanding. So we got to them in that lower Sephirah to begin integrating them. This is my spin on it. What sort of came through for me when I thought about that was that to begin at this lower level to get a sense of the power of this wisdom and understanding that we could activate in our physicality, in the physical realm. And so we reach them again through grace and beauty of the Spirit, and they're more like light at that level. But still, this is a very powerful mantra, Lakma, which also shares the root of Hakma, the wisdom. And so that's why it means both bread and understanding. And the definition that comes from Sadi is food for all forms of growth. But these root words are derived from a basic root relating to the divine feminine, which pictures growing vigor and verdancy, warmth, passion, all instruments of the generative power. And of course, in that supernal realm, that's where the birth begins as it comes down into the lower realms. And then I brought in Amalkatu, which is the name of the Divine Mother from Old Canaanite, and then adding to that Da'alaha, which is the Aramaic for God. So this is the Mother of God, and also the Queendom. So this was the name used for the Great Mother for thousands of years before Jesus. And we, of course, we get this information from the prayers of the cosmos, the translations of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. So then jumping back up to the Arabic, I'm going to let Anna describe these to you, just to give my voice a break here and so I can have a little water.
Yeah. So, we have Ru'Allah, Ya Jamil, and we know Ruh is the spirit, the breath of God. And so this is we're invoking that spirit of divine beauty, that we know that God loves beauty and everything that is in beauty returns back to God and to the arms of the mother. So that's a beautiful phrase, Ru'Allah Ya Jamil, and very comforting. And then the other one, Al-Musawir, I did a number of mandalas in the beautiful names of God. And Al-Musawir happened to be on the cover of my first book there. And so it was the very first one, because I did it all in a very creative, feminine way, not in the order of the Quran or anything like this. So the very first one was the fashioner of beauty. And so what I said about that, beauty unfolds from within out as the flower unfurls in the sun. Give praise to the Creator, Creatrix, the source of all beauty. Al-Musawir, the fashioner, stirs my creative spirit. Starting with my own center, I seek out the still point, the silence, and allow intuition to guide me. The beauty within beckons to become the source, which ignites my creative fire. Welcome, Leo. So that was the first inspiration of 3 volumes that I did on the beautiful names of God. And Malika is the divine queendom. So I think I had that one in my second book.
I wanted to throw in right here that I gave Anna credit down in my references below, for those of you who don't know, that she's published these beautiful books, and I have just found them to be a great resource.
Yeah, thank you. No, Malika. Oh. I can't find Malika right now. I'll put them somewhere else. But anyway, this is about taking on the robe of our queenly presence, or kingly presence. Let's see, volume 3. Malika. Oh, lost it. Right. Malika, the queenly, 36.
Find it.
I'll show you. I did like a brocaded a mandala that was like something you'd find on a brocade somewhere, some medieval type of thing. And it was the rich
Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic kind of feel. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. And I really don't know where all these essences came from, but from my intuition. And the rich brocade of my queenly cloak, bequeathed by the beloveds, falls softly around my shoulders, and I walk in these royal colours, dappled with lavender and purple. A greater consciousness stirs, the rippling pool of yearning, and expands the shores of my being. I do rediscover my own vision and feel the pulse of queendom. A compassionate gaze develops to see the divine within the other. Knocking at my door is Al-Malik, the icon of the cosmos. Wisdom and clear-sightedness enter to become my court advisors. I have to remember them, to invite them in, my court advisors. That's what we do with Ya Malik. Thank you, Amina.
Yes, thank you. So in the Hebrew, I think I've mentioned this before, but Yahweh is used as a substitute for the 4-letter name, which is believed to be the unpronounceable name of God. And in some of the resources, instead of Yod-He, Vod-He, Elohim for the name assigned to Binah, you would see Yahweh, Elohim, and so those are interchangeable. And then Yah, which is the Yod, this is then sort of an ongoing contemplation, you might say, for me to use this form of Yah, Y-A-H, the Hebrew, when I'm chanting Yah Mariam, although in the Hebrew would be Yah Miriam. But this is the aspect of divinity that is the conjunction of masculine and feminine energies. And so it is just so powerful to use this Yah when we're saying Mary's name. The Yah, the YA, is what came to me first, which is the Arabic, and that Yah in Arabic means O. So we're saying O Mariam, as we would say O Allah, O God, O Jamil. It's what we're saying when we say Ya Jamil. But to really have the intention of holding that masculine-feminine balance is in Yah, Y-A-H, the Hebrew. So just throwing that out, if it's something in your mind, you would know the difference. You know? And then Elohim Hayim, the living God. And also a little bit more about Elohim. The higher up I've gone on the tree, the more qualities and attributes I find about Elohim. Elohim is the divine power within nature, a plural word, so we say the one and the many as one of the translations, which emphasizes the multiplicity of the faces of God, which manifests the perfection of creation and the life of the world to come. So that life, that Hayim, similar to the Arabic Hay, Yahai, it's the same root, so it's basically the same word, same meaning. And then just this finally, Bina, spiritual love, this is the path between the two, complements and balances the wisdom, Hakma, spiritual will. So it's the balance of spiritual love, spiritual will. So I will stop this, and if there's any discussion, questions, comments, we'll be opening the floor. And if you want to speak, just unmute yourself.
There were a few things in the chat box, questions for you.
All right, I'll take a look.
Yeah. So I think...
the planet, is that Eris? Is that what you're asking about, Andrew?
Yeah. How is it spelled?
I've got to look. E-H-R-I-S, I think.
E-R-I.
Eris, yeah. You pronounce it like an H. Eris, but it's, Eris. E-R-I-S, but the A is like an E-H. And where does it sit? Well, from what I can remember from all my reading, it's actually further away than Pluto. They compare it to Pluto, but it's the same size as Pluto, but it's further away. And it's always in conjunction with Mars, so it travels with Mars.
And apparently it's the same size as Pluto, and now...
No, it's larger. No, you're right, it's the same size.
Yeah, and it's being demoted now. So Pluto looks like it's being shafted by Eris.
Yes, yeah. They demoted Pluto when they named Eris a dwarf planet. So that's what she does. She goes around creating discord and, messes with everybody. And then, okay. And then Andrew is saying Bina is a title in the Aboriginal language.
I don't know. I have to ask.
Okay.
One of our associates, he calls himself Bina. He's been named that. So I think it's a title. It's an honorarium. Bina.
Okay, well, let us know next time. Okay. Any other questions? Comments?
You're just going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to do in the last session, the one that's going to come up.
I've mentioned this, of course, before, but we've had our full and new moons this month, and So our last session, which is in 2 weeks, we will devote entirely to the Tree of Life and Rosary. So as I said earlier, I will give you the details about Hakma and Kether, the first and second Sephiroth. And then we will do the entire Rosary with a candle lighting service. So that'll be interesting. I'm still working on what that's going to look like. It came to me months ago, so I know it's going to happen, but can't give you any details right now. Except that, here's a little clue. I will be using a 9-candle menorah for that candle lighting service. So,
Wow.
Wow, we look forward to it.
yeah, me too.
Yes, and we really appreciate all the work that you've put into this, Amina. It's been an amazing resource, and I hope we can all reward you somehow financially as well. So that's just a reminder for people to acknowledge the immense work and dedication that you have to Mary's calling you to do this work. Yeah.
Well, folks have been very generous, and so I'm appreciative, but I can't even call it a labor of love because it really isn't labor. It's like spiritual practice for me. You know, if you're a dance leader, you know what that means. So the preparing for it is spiritual practice for me, and I just love to follow it. And I'm looking forward to where it goes from here. I hope you all keep on the journey with me because I appreciate all of you so much.
Yeah.
Your commitment and your devotion to this path is, it just makes it all so beautiful. So,
Yes, thank you very much.
thank you.
I have a question about the supernal triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, when you said earlier about the 3 at the top and that it resonated to Avun de Bashmaya, the first line, yeah, and that was about the movement of divine light into Keta or the crown. Can you say a bit more? Because I drew a picture going from the right to the left and up. But as I'm looking at the numbers, because we're in 8 now, and then we're going across to 9, Hokmah, and then up to 10. Can you say, does it matter which way that goes?
In terms of the powers, we started number 1 at the bottom of the tree, which is the 10th Sephiroth. So Kether is number 1, and Hakma is 2, and Binah is 3, in terms of the numbers of the Sephiroth. So it starts at the top, the light comes down from Kether through Hakma and Binah, and that's the supernal triangle.
Yes, and what I was understanding when we're going from the base up, in the Magdalena tradition, that it was coming up, the movement of divine light upwards into the crown?
Well, we're just starting from our physical plane in Malkut and traveling up the tree, and that is where Mary started from. She started from physicality and the ascent of her soul and the root, the darkness of the root of the tree, and then went up until she reached the light. So it's like the numbers of the Sephiroth don't correlate with the numbers of the powers, but the energies do. That's what I have discovered as we've traveled up the tree, the energies. So it's just a way of numbering the powers to keep them in a sequence, in the same sequence that Mary journeyed with them.
So I'm getting that what's important from that is the light of divine wisdom and divine understanding that are lifting up to the crown.
But the crown came down, the light came down through them. Started with Kether, came down through them, and then down into the lower.
Okay, that's what's confusing me then. I've always had this visual of we're going up the tree instead of coming down.
Yep. To the light. We're going from.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so we are taking this journey from the dark to the light, and things are happening, for sure. Okay, so shall we finish with Mariam Malkatur? And I bid you all farewell and a happy practice time and further journeying to the light. Ya Mariam. Ya Mariam. Okay, so let me just look where I've got this.
we're running over a little bit, so if you need to leave, it's fine. We were just going to play this as sort of, closing to the evening. And